Hello. All right, so I am here. If you are watching this live, comment live. Right. Hope everyone is doing amazing. The title probably should. The title itself should make you like, oh my gosh. Also, too, if you can hear me okay, please give me some hearts or give me some hearts. Let me know that you can hear me okay. Today's going to be an interesting topic, and I'm definitely going to try my best to bring clarity to some of this that's going on. And disclaimer, hey Sasha, good morning. I am definitely going to throw this up on YouTube because you know it is what it is. So we just got to be real with it. Okay, so I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to try not to take a lot of your time today, but for some of you that are just confused about what is going on, what is happening, what's happening in the world, and give you a greater sense of security and knowing, and just really in the spirit of like, what can I do now to get myself together? And what is happening in the world right now? And why does it feel like everything is in control? I mean, out of control. I want to be able to shed some light on that because I think it's very, very, very important that we get some clarity about where we are as a society. And we are not consistently walking around in this like confusion state, like what's happening, what's going on. Feel free to share this broadcast too. You can do it in the DMs. You can send it to people that you know. Send them the link because I think this is a universal concept that we really do need to prepare for. Okay. So my name is Coach Jay. I am a business and a mindset coach. So what I do is I work with women service providers, coaches, consultants that desire to scale their businesses with a skill-based group program that is going to teach skill mastery, which is very timely these days because we are in a different era. We are not in the old, we are moving into the new. Okay, I just want to make sure I am very clear about that. Very, very clear. Okay, we're not in the old way of doing things, we're in the new. Okay, this is probably going to mess with a lot of people's theology, a lot of people's mental like belief system in so many ways, but I don't want to take away from anything that you believe in. I want you to expand. I want you to think about expansion of what you believe in, right? I want you to expand and open up so that you can receive all the more. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about it. Let's really, really get into the nuts and bolts of this. So today we're going to talk about a couple of different things. Number one, no one's being left behind. So all the ones that are waiting on the rapture are just, and the 5D ascension, and people are going to be left behind in 3D, and the world's going to split into physical worlds. That's not what's happening. That's not going to be the case. Okay. And I know that really messes with people because I was indoctrinated to believe that God is going to be so mad at the earth that he is going to take a very small percentage of people to this heavenly realm. We're going to be raptured up in the sky, and it's, people are going to be, whatever, right? So I know that messes with people because we're taught something of the antithesis. I'm here to tell you that you have to be very, very careful of what people are telling you. You have to be very careful and start to explore. Like when you fear something, that means that's a call to delve into it even more. You need to learn. You need to learn. You don't need to withdraw. You need to learn. And I really believe in being truthful from my angle. I know that this is a very difficult conversation to have with certain people because you have people that are still struggling in certain areas. So let's first start with the age of Aquarius. So I've talked about this so many times on this platform, on Instagram as well, where we talked about like the age of people moving from the hierarchy structure to more of a lateral type of structure. We call it the age of the feminine. That's also what the age of Aquarius means, which is why we have the patriarchy having such a hard time right now. Men are just really having a hard time. This is why you got men videotaping their wives having arguments. Because women have a choice. They gave women rights. And then they're trying to strip them because they're trying to recover, because they understand. And when you give women choices, guess what starts to happen? The world starts to slow down and consider the woman like, wait a minute, she has a lot of control. She has more control than we thought. The woman does. And I think that's the thing. You got some women who are just straight up tired. They didn't think that women were going to have this much control over their lives until they gave them more opportunities and more rights to choose what they wanted, right? So let's go back. So the age of Aquarius, right? So you have a shifting from the age of Pisces, which was over 2,000 years ago. And when I say experts, I'm talking about experts in the astrology realm, right? So you have people that state that they went from the age of Pisces, which was the era in the time of Jesus, when Jesus ushered that in, right? Before that, I believe it was the what? I don't want to get this wrong. Aries, the ram, right? No, the war, the man of war. So when you look in the Old Testament, right? The Old Testament is all about God, like mad battles, war, killing babies, and all this other stuff, right? And then you got Jesus who comes in like a gentle lamb with the spirit of the Lion of Judah, right? It's come in to kind of quiet things down and teach people how to use their minds again. And over time, and this is coming from somebody who went over there, and I'm talking about in Egypt, in that era, in that area, and was able to get some answers for her own spiritual walk, which was my spiritual walk for sure. And I realized that it was a lot of things that I was taught that just didn't line up. Y'all got to realize that America is only like 3 years old compared to the rest of the world. I think people fail to realize that part, right? So America is literally a newborn. Like it was just like created in 1776. Like that wasn't that long ago. And I think people do not consider that part where, you get people, how do they know? It is like literally, like Egypt has been around for tens and tens of thousands of years. They have data that goes all the way back to, don't get me going, because it's a long time. Even Europe has a long history, right? The rest of the world, indigenous people have a long history. But America is founded on the roots of patriarchy. We know this, we know this. This is the reason why. Let me help you with this. So now we're going into a different understanding. The understanding is you're in a country where the patriarchy, the white man's vision, the white man's utopia, and I want to make sure I'm very clear. Like, I honor all faiths. I love everybody. Okay. So I don't want nobody to feel attacked. Anybody that's coming back and look at the shoes talking about the white man. No, I'm not talking about the white man. I'm trying to give you a basis and a foundation as to why we looking crazy as a society. Okay. So this is the white man's utopia. Do y'all not understand this? So all of your beliefs, Jesus, I gotta take my glasses off. All of your beliefs, everything that you have indoctrinated and believed up until this point, even to the way you've married your children, the school system, why there's a class system, why there are country clubs, why there are hoods, why there are gated communities. There's a separatism from the haves and the have-nots. Your government. Was all the white man's utopia. Separated from the world, work for my vision, work for my benefit, so that I can live the life that I came over here to live. So what happened? Religion became a white man's sport to demonize spiritual practices that just wasn't aligned up to his, which is why you have the fight for traditionalism, traditional marriages and traditional. It's a white man's concept, y'all. I'm not speaking against marriage. I think marriage is wonderful in some cases. But marriage was also built as a safety guard for women. Do y'all not get that? Women didn't get married because they loved the man. Women got married because they needed to feel safe. Because why? The feminine was suppressed. When Jesus died, right? We know Jesus died, for what we've been taught, right? It was a very gruesome death, right? Right after that, his followers were oppressed. His followers, his disciples, were tortured and thrown into exile and all these other things. So when that happened, the Greek and the Romans began to play with the storyline of how things came to be. This was agreed upon from the Council of Nicaea. Y'all can go and look this up, research this stuff. The Bible has been translated in 67 ways. I'm not making this up. There's 67 translations of the whole Bible, okay? So for those of you saying that the Bible is the only true written word of God, it's inspired, okay? So man wrote this piece and man was the ones carried out. Because my community has to line up with me. That's what I'm trying to get, it has to be an aligned community. This is a way for me to start filtering out people. Because you gotta be able to open up to why your fear is so deep in your bones. The reason why when you fear, you don't understand. And some of y'all get triggered by the fear when you just need to simply understand why you're fearing. Like, why am I scared of God? I'm being told to fear God. Why? Because you don't understand. And then you start asking people questions and they can't tell you an answer because they haven't tried to understand. When the kingdom of heaven is within you. So when Jesus died, like I said, and the disciples went into, they started to torture them. They killed them off, put them in exile, banished them from the land, put them on island. Like I'm thinking about John that wrote the book of Revelation. A lot of people think like, come now, Lord Jesus, right? Come quickly. One of the things that you have to be open to is, guess what? They were in the desert, y'all. They were in the desert. Still, Israel, if you go over there, is very desert land. Egypt, desert land. Assyria, like that whole area, desert land. Of course, they wanted God to come quickly. He's coming back. He's coming back. He's getting us out of this hellhole. It's so hot over here. It's 120 degrees every single day. We're in the desert. I don't want to be in the desert anymore. Come get me. And now we got the same mentality over here. Oh, the systems are it's just so much. I'm tired of like hustling and going about and get my money. And God, please come back and get us. No, you ain't. I really, really push you all to start thinking and to start opening your mind. Stop being scared to open your mind up. Matthias De Stefano says something very key. If you look him up, research him, he's on Instagram. And one of the things he said, y'all have seen my stories because I posted my stories when he said that your job when you came here to this earth realm was not to discover the answer. Your purpose was to bring consciousness to the question. So each question that you ask the divine leads to another question, which is why every time you level up in your mental state and in your spiritual state, there's always more questions. And when people cannot answer your question because they're frustrated, because they don't take out the time to go and look it up to soothe your doubts, y'all quiet. Then what happens? What happens then? What happens is that you have to start thinking about, okay, do I want to accept their lack and their ignorance to soothe me, or do I need to go and find the kingdom within me? Because we are a generation that is addicted to somebody telling us what we need to be doing. I need a word. I need a prophecy. I need somebody to tell. Why can't you prophesy to yourself? Why can't you do that to yourself? Why do you have to have somebody tell you what to do? I need a man to pay my bills for me so I can just sit here and do nothing. Why do you need a man to do that? Why do I have to have somebody to take care of me as if I was 10? As a woman, you are capable. Do you know that's why the feminine is very strong. She controls life. She controls multiplication. So when you look at the Aquarian sign, right? It's a man that has a pitcher of water that's pouring out of that pitcher. So the water represents, it's been said, the feminine, the masculine giving way to the feminine. It's a beautiful analogy. Beautiful metaphor. And it's basically the man is saying, this is your time. But in the age of Pisces, the matriarchy, the woman, the feminine was suppressed because her womb controlled the multiplication of the world. Her intuition was spot on. And men who are wise, men who are emotionally managed, understand the feminine. And they know that if they marry a woman, they have to marry somebody who's very intuitive. They have to be with someone who can see past now, who's a visionary. When you have an imbalanced society like we do here in the United States, the masculine will tear up things and the feminine becomes helpless. And she doesn't know how to think on her own, so she just takes on the thought process of the masculine. Or she's scared to speak up. She's scared to make choices for herself. She's scared to trust herself. You know what that is? The masculine is telling the woman, oh, I just need you to sit here and create babies for me. I need you, this is the conversation in America. I just need you to shut up and create babies for me. I don't want you to do nothing else. I want you to cook it clean for me. Because it was a man's system. I'm tilling the land, but I'm going to die one day, and I need this to be passed down to my heir. I can't bear heirs, but she can. Which is why you have women that are just like, okay, because I feel like I don't have any control over myself. I feel like I can't get out here and till land, or I can't get out here and work and handle acres and acres of land. I can't do all these things. So I have to rely and depend on the patriarchy to take care of me while I sit here and eat bonbons all day. Or make sure that he has a warm meal when he comes home. There is nothing wrong with servicing your partner. Don't get me wrong. If that's the agreement in your household, please, by all means, do what you have to do. That's your house. I want to keep the peace there. I'm just giving you a systematic overview. I am not against marriage. In fact, I celebrate the institution because I do believe that marriage should be a partnership between a man and a woman, and they are indeed building wealth, because that's actually what marriage was created to be. It was supposed to be a wealth building tool. But then you had men that felt left out because they didn't have a whole lot of land, but they're like, I want to get married too. While the women are competing, because that's what they were doing, they were competing for the highest powerful men. Because why? Because they were taught by their daddies to take care of them. So it's from daddy to daddy, father to father. I need somebody to take care of my daughter because I'm getting old. And so the woman is like, oh my gosh, he has so much power. They ran after women. That's why women are attracted to power now, but in a different fashion these days, because if I'm attracted to power in myself, I should also be powerful. Power plus power equals supernatural. Does that make sense, y'all? Does that make sense? So what does that have to do with today? So Jay, take me here. Take me to down. The woman now has choices, like I stated. And men are having a hard time with that. They don't know what to do. but it's men that have not developed themselves spiritually. When men don't understand, fear creeps up, and men respond differently than women. When they are in fear, they provoke fear. Their emotions are not managed. And so what they do is they go to bullying. They take advantage of the physical strength that they have. Men are very powerful. They're very strong physically. But the physical strength is to protect the feminine, the intuition. That's why when you have a balanced household and the man is emotionally managed and understand that that woman has hormones that do this, this is her life. She's highly intuitive. And then sometimes she gets a little upset about things because she began to think through these things in her body. But when a woman is taken care of and secure and safe and feels safe, she can create. I'm going there. Here we go. In 2023, when she feels safe and she feels secure and she feels like her needs are met, her creativity is through the roof. And guess who benefits? The masculine. Oh, y'all. So what does it say about women who are alone? Women who are divorced, women who are separated, women who don't have a mate? She is responsible for allowing her masculine and her feminine to work on her behalf. Now, I'm not saying that wives or married women or women that are in relationships can't have the same ordeal. That's not what I'm saying. I'm gonna take care of the wives in a minute and the women in relationships. For single women, because I know it's more of us than it is wives, right? I've been there. I've been every woman. I've been everyone. I've been a wife. I've been a side piece. Let's just call it what it is. I've been a fiance. I've been a girlfriend. I've been all those roles. But the good thing is, going into my 40th year, I'm 40 now. I've been able to understand those mental states and what state I was operating from when I was younger. Because many times the states that I was operating when I was younger, I didn't love the man for real. I only wanted my needs met. Because that's what I was taught. And I didn't understand that when my needs were met, that was my time to create. Jesus. Correct, you so silly. Thank you. So it's a shifting of the guards here, right? So you have the opportunity to do what in the feminine? The feminine is loud. That's why I tell women, y'all start being quiet. You ain't got to sit up here and go back and forth with being about why you need to be accountable and you need to, the man is here to, this, but the women are just being belligerent and they're being this and they're being that. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all stop they're threatened. And when you're threatened, you don't know how you're going to react. So your first step is to attack the feminine. But when you attack the feminine, guess what happens? You start to deteriorate. Because the feminine brings on lushness. She brings on money. She brings on opportunities. She brings on happiness and joy. She brings wisdom and intuition. She feeds and provides insight to the younger generation, which is why if you're a mother in this age, pour into your children quickly, please, and often. Hug your children often. You know, my mom did. You get a chance to do what your mother did not, okay? And your mother knew what she knew. And please, and we have to, and I had to vow that recently, is that let's stop like blaming our mothers and grandmothers for what they didn't know, what they didn't teach us, because they were under a old system. They didn't know. They were getting their needs met. Y'all stop that. Your mama didn't know. She just didn't know. She didn't have any idea. But my mom she didn't teach me how to leave her alone. Love her for where she's at and go on. What are you putting in place? Which is why I'm big on matriarchy in energy. What do you have? What values have you set for your life that you can teach the younger generation? You don't have to be a mother to teach another generation. You could just by the way you walk. Don't you know there are girls and there are children that just watch how you walk? Like your nieces, your cousins, when you come around, they just look at your aura. They look at your spirit. They're like, wow, auntie so-and-so or cousin. I just love how she just comes around and everybody wants to be around you. Everybody wants to know, like, oh my gosh, like, you know, what do you think about such? They come to you for advice. They come to you for insight because you are in the feminine. When you create, you multiply. The age of Aquarius is all about what? We got tech innovations, right? We got AI, robotics going on. We got a lot of things happening. We got companies that are closing. I just want to like help y'all understand you're going into a new place. Stop asking like, Jesus, please come back. I am such an egg. I am ready for the Lord to come back and get me. I know you're ready for the Lord to come back and get you. Lord, if I told you that your purpose was made earth heaven before you get to heaven. When you transition from this life, you're going to go on to another dimension. You're going to get there and be shocked. I don't know how to walk on these streets paved with gold or whatever that your heaven is. Because I'm here to tell you, when I got an understanding of this, I almost threw my laptop to the other side of the room. If what Jesus stated on earth as it is in heaven, your heaven ain't going to look like much. You know, this is consciousness. I don't want that word to mess with you. What is consciousness? Conscious is simply awareness. So what now, Jay? Like, okay, I get it. AI, innovations, totally understand. What does that have to do with the age of Aquarius, age of feminine? Lionsgate portal is coming up. How do I get prepared for that? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so my awareness has to shift. My perception of the world has to change. So instead of me begging in prayer, I need to start commanding in prayer. I need to state what I'm going to say and go on. Everybody want to leave everybody behind. You're not, as long as, I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to tell you what the Pope knows. As long as you are open and aware and alive in this body, walking on the face of this earth, you're going to have the law of polarity. Okay, that's up, down, hate, fear, love, bliss, lust. You're going to have opposite ends of the spectrum. See, this is the thing I talk about in the Matriarch CEO Coach Program. I talk about all this stuff. Our clients just be closing so many because we talk about spiritual things. And all this is spiritual. Your reality around you, you vomit it out from your thoughts. You're a little G, little God. So with that being said, it's a rebirth and renewal. And unfortunately, we were born during the season of the transition, which is why everybody's off. And we've been transitioning for a minute. We've been transitioning for a long time. I do believe in 2020, when the Jupiter, that conjunction happened in Jupiter, in 2020, I really believe that was like kind of spot in. Pluto has been in Capricorn for a long time. I think we slipped back into Capricorn. So I'm gonna tell y'all this. Pluto went into Aquarius and then it snapped back into Capricorn. It's gonna be in Capricorn up until January, February. Astrologers or astrology experts that's listening, please chime in to make sure I'm correct. Around January, February, it's supposed to go back into Aquarius, and that's where it's gonna sit for a long time. And I told my clients this a while back. If you are not setting the foundation right now for the rest, when Pluto snaps back into Aquarius in January, February of next year, whatever you live in right now and your emotional state right now, that's where you're going to stay. I'm going to tell y'all this. Pluto retrograded Capricorn into January, then back to Aquarius for the next 20 years. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Catrice. If you look in the Bible, it's full of astrological reference, full of it. Hidden in plain sight. I had to realize this years ago. I was like, what the heck? I feel like I've been bamboozled all my freaking life. So God is like, I really sense this from the divine. Like, God is giving you time to prepare yourself and set the foundation. That's what I say. The feminine, y'all stop arguing with folk. Walk in your divine power. There's going to be some people that's going to die from anxiety. Like, anxiety is going to be so deep in their bone marrow that they're not going to have no choice. They're going to be begging to die. Because they did not create anything. When you're not creating, you're dying. When you're not learning and growing, you're dying. You're declining. So the yellow trucking company, I'm about to get ready to close. The yellow trucking company, whatever that logistics company is, nearly 100 years old. I saw some people talk about it yesterday, a couple of days ago. They're closing up doors and people lost their pensions and stuff like that. What a time to be alive, right? So you can look at that in two totally different ways. You can look at that as a loss, right? These people worked for 30 years, 30 plus years, 10 plus years, built, in their mind, they're building up a pension. And then they were told that the doors are going to close in less than 30 days. You can look at this in a way of like, oh my gosh, like I lost my job and my pension. Like, what am I going to do? So you could go back to the fact that I didn't know. I didn't know I was supposed to build an income on the side. I didn't know I was supposed to be building, for the next level. I didn't know that I was supposed to be buying land. I didn't know I was supposed to be building real estate properties. I didn't know I was supposed to be investing outside of this. I just knew that I was supposed to work hard all my life. And in my 60s and my 70s, I sit down for the next 5 to 7, 10 years and just sit in whatever, or if I get bored, I can go volunteer. Not understanding that the companies don't owe you nothing. Now, you're probably looking at it from a logical, egotistical standpoint and say, that was mean, Jay. They deserve those pensions. They work hard. Let me tell y'all something. Those people did not do what they were supposed to do. But unconsciously or consciously, the law still applies. So just because you were ignorant does not mean you are exempt from the consequence. I didn't know how. Sorry. The law still applies. Some people say, well, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Now, what you can do, however, is that you can start to revitalize and refine your mental state, your state of being. It's okay. So I got laid off. They told me that my pension is gone. Got it. So what do I do now with this information? I'm mad. You have a right to be mad. You have a right to be emotional about the labor that you put in for somebody else's utopia. You didn't create your own utopia. You built somebody else's. You were supporting somebody else's utopia because you didn't build your own. Collective, the collective, right? So the age of Aquarius is about collective and community, but it's also about independence and individuality. How could it be both and different at the same time? Y'all here? Give me some hearts if y'all are still here. Feel free to share this broadcast. The age of the feminine looks a little something like this. We're entering an era of growth and nurturing, intuition, and we're being supported. So for all of y'all that are demonizing ChatGPT and some of these AI tools and it's from the devil and the devil wants us, y'all please stop that. Don't y'all know that these systems are here to support you so that you could think about other things? I don't want to use it. I got so nervous about using ChatGPT because I heard it was so, okay, so stop hearing stuff. These things, like, don't you know? Like people tell you like, oh, I created like 7 ebooks or whatever from ChatGPT. It's your first draft. It gives you the ability to put some things in the system and belch out some data that you can use for whatever. Because before that, you were told like, I got to use my mind. And now you mentally exhausted because you're trying to write when ChatGPT can give you some data and you get to polish it up and put it out there or whatever. It supports the feminine. What need is it solving? The need to think so hard from ground zero. It supports the feminine. ChatGPT is a masculine concept. I love it. Here you go, girl. Now go. Oh, thank you. It gives more time to think and read and do all this other stuff I want to do. That's why you should simplify your business model. Why is your business model all over the place? Because you feel like you have to be active to earn money. Why aren't you building a business model that allows you to be free and be a woman? I'm sorry. I'm gonna go here. This is why you have like Africa and not Africa, I'm sorry, South Africa and Korea and China, Russia, all of them are starting to like join forces now. They're building alliances. The systems that depended on. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Dependence has shifted. Me depending on someone to take care of me. Africa, like I'm African American or Black, I'm Black. I wasn't born in Africa. But by definition here, because we have to have labels to communicate. is providing substance to be able to see all over the world what's going on. And you got Africa that depended on America for a long time. And now Africa has gotten there. If you start to watch what's going on in Africa. Watch what's happening in the West. So your Europes and your America. America really got sins that they got to pay for. And they already know what it is. I ain't even got to talk about it on here. Until they admit the sins of this country, this country gonna feel it. And everybody that is adhering to their belief system is also gonna feel it. That's why you gotta start freeing up your thinking process. Decolonize your belief system. Why do I believe what I believe? The things that I know, why was I taught that? Let me go, let me get to this. So now you have a community of people. You got two communities out here talking about being left. You got the spiritual community is all about the 5D, we're going to 5D. And then you got this community over here, the religious community, Christian community, that's saying we're gonna be left behind because Jesus is gonna come back and get us, okay? Everybody wanna leave people behind. Do you know how inhumane that is? So even if you have been mean to people, even if you're prejudiced, but I believe that Jesus saved me from my sins and I'm going on to be with him, even though I can't stand this person next to me. Or I'm here to demonize and bring fear and argue back and forth with people about God. God doesn't need your defending. God is spirit. God is source. We call God Father because there is a fathering, there's an air, there's a protection over us. There's in the earth realm, there is like a greenhouse effect. So the Father protects, and I'm talking about from the energetic, right? The Father protects. Who is the mother? Nobody talks about the mother. We think about Mary, but the mother is the earth. And she is upset with the masculine. The masculine literally has tore this planet clean up. Because the feminine was in balance. So now Mother Earth is bellowing out. Why am I saying she has the seed of the ground? Abundance is all around you. But they have masculinized this planet. Even in America, we don't have fruit trees just walking down the street. All of the trees here in the city, in any city that you're in, where the fruit at? They're all masculine. They don't bear any fruit for you to eat. Think. You have abundance of trees, but there's no abundance of fruit. But you go to places like Belize and Costa Rica, you can walk down the street and there are mango trees. Kiwi. Fruit galore. Eat more fruit. Drink more water. Hydrate yourself. The feminine needs more fruit. The trees are masculine. You got leaves. Oh, we're going to plant trees. Well, why they can't feed nobody? Yep, Amy in Panama. So you're going to have to decide which way you are going to go now in the age of Aquarius, right? So we are like, oh, the systems are going to come down. They're going to come down. They're going to come down. They're not going to come down. They're going to look different. But I'm going to tell you who is going to mess up. And I need y'all to hear me. And I really want you to put fear aside. I just need you to get your mind wrapped around. If I'm going to do this, I got to go all the way. I've been having this conversation and prepping my clients for 2 years on this. I knew this was coming. You got to get out of your emotions. Your emotions should not rule. Your body has become the mind. You are not your body. And I'm going to go here. You're not your mind. The mind holds the emotions. So you are going to have to decide as a woman most of us are in the United States. So guess what? You're going to have to get at your feelings. Because if you don't get your crap together, there's not going to be a middle anymore. You know, this is happening in real time. There is no middle class. It's coming out. There's a manifestation. There's a manifestation happening right before our eyes, and some of us are not hip to this. There are a lot of people going to lose a lot. But they're going to gain a lot if they think. They got to learn to think. And when I say think, I'm not talking about thinking in terms of thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm losing it. Thinking in a creative. You're either going to be forced to be creative, or you're going to have to decide. Those people that were laid off from that yellow trucking company, that's a lot of people, 30,000 people or so laid off. Guess what? A lot of those people either are going to have to go beg for somebody to help them and give them an opportunity, or they're going to have to learn how to create. They're going to be forced. If I were you and I was a woman and I knew that my needs have to stay met and my safety and my security has to stay on point so that I could create and feel better about creating, I would have to tell him, no, I ain't gonna be able to go out this weekend. You know, I'm gonna have to sit my tail down at a desk. I'm gonna have to take my booty to Starbucks. I don't care if I have to drink a cup of water. I need to sit there for about 3 to 4 hours to get my crap together, get my offers together. I need to sell my booty off. And if I don't know how to do it, I need to ask, listen, feminine, ask for resources. God is the fathering energy. God has to support the feminine. Look, if I was married and I had a husband and my husband tell me no, and I really want to do it, I'd be like, God, I need you to work on this one right here. I need father to father right here. The husband is also master, right? It means master. I need you to do something right here. Because, you know, I don't take no for an answer. If I want to do something, I want to do something. The feminine wants what she wants. Okay, because I'll just sit here. No. My husband said me, no, Now, I'm not saying be disobedient. Y'all better learn how to work this work. You better use your feminine wiles to get what you want, especially if you got a husband. You don't tell me no. I'll let this work. I got it. Okay. No, baby. Okay. You be telling me yes tomorrow. 8/8 coming up. Lionsgate. So the Lionsgate is the time every year where there's a Sirius, the constellation Sirius, Earth, and Orion. I would strongly suggest that y'all look up those 3 constellations, especially like Orion. I mean, Earth. Earth is not a constellation, it's a planet. But Orion and Sirius. So Orion is the arrow, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what it is. But it's a constellation, and Orion was really, 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 really important in Egypt, right? So, and the importance of it, because these are portals, right? You have portals. You can shift at any time. Don't get me wrong. When people say, "Oh, the timeline shifted," you can shift at any moment. In fact, every morning that you wake up in so many ways, you are in a different timeline. Because if depending on the time you wake up, in this realm, there's time. There's no time outside of this realm. That's only for us. You get that, right? Because we came here, we have a body that deteriorates. There's a start and an end date. This body can only live in this realm for so long before it expires. This is a suit. It has to stay here. Remember that, right? Okay. So these constellations, there are portals by which the collective, which means everybody, feels a feeling of abundance. 8 is the number of abundance, right? So with 8, the number 8, the portal, there's a boost in people's aspirations. Everybody will start to feel very inspired to do things. They will be inspired to manifest. So what is manifestation? Is to expect something to be true. So if I am manifesting something, I manifest it up here, and then the belief is stuck here. So it's Hebrews 11:1, basically. So if you have a Bible, Hebrews 11:1, hold true to that. Like whatever you believe to be true, and there's emotion to back it up, to bring it through, it's going to have to come to the light. It's going to have to come to and available for your senses to experience. So new ideas, new visions, people create their whole life from 8-8 portal. For the next 12 months, you got an opportunity to see a new life come before you. It's the Lion Leo season, Lion's Gate, Christ consciousness, where love is at its highest frequency collectively. I guarantee you, most of us gonna wake up on the 8th of August and you're gonna feel a sense of euphoria in so many ways. You're gonna be like, feel good today for some reason, no matter what's going on. Like either you're gonna be feeling hopeful, you're gonna be feeling kind of like, I feel like something is like good is about to happen, because it's because the law of one. So everybody's connected, no matter what religion you're in, no matter how you feel about the country, no matter if there is a sense of hopefulness and expectation in the air. That's the Lion's Gate. You can love Jesus and also be okay with understanding numerology, because numbers are all through the Bible: 12, 7, 40, 3, repetitively. So as a woman, portals are going to be your best friend. You know why? Because you're a one. You're a portal. Souls come through women. So souls hover around the woman, waiting on her to mate up with the masculine. You ain't got to believe it. You ain't got to. It's okay. So, yeah, witchcraft is. If you really want me to tell you what witchcraft really is what a lot of these men are doing to women. They're the real warlocks, baby. You know, the masculine can't survive without the feminine. You know that, right? Do you understand it? That's why there's such a, they die earlier than women. Y'all angry. You know, anger goes deep in the muscle and it starts to develop into dis-ease quick. Let's stop arguing with these men. That's why men have to have a feminine. They have, you know why? Because they're chargers. Women are chargers for them. They're chargers. That's why kings, men of power, keep a lot of women. They need them as chargers. This is not something I'm making up. You know that, right? You can look at your anatomy and see this to be true. Who got the plug and who got the outlet? It's not just for procreation. They get that feminine energy. So that's why you got the government taking away the ability for women to choose what she wants to do with her body if she is impregnated by a man that she does not feel safe and secure with. Because I don't want to bear his seed, but you allowed him to get some of your energy. Some men are absolutely okay with that. I just want the energy. I just want the feminine. Have you ever noticed, like, it's adult conversation here, may have to schedule this another time. Men, the masculine needs the woman. That's why they overlap. Like when a man leaves a woman, he goes straight into they go into another relationship because they have to have an outlet. What can I plug into so that I can feel balanced? It's about him. It's about the masculine. And I'm talking obviously gender specific, right? This is why you also have the feminine. The feminine, if she has an imbalanced masculine, guess what happens? She loses money. She loses confidence. She feels bad about herself. So I'm gonna tell you now, if your money has decreased and you've been with a male, but he feels good about himself, like he's fine in life, and you're not, you need to stop messing with him quickly. And that's if you're not married, obviously. What I'm talking about here is to help the woman understand herself as it pertains to how she operates in a country where the advantages are not as vast for the man as it is for the man. The war is on the woman. Do you not get this? And it's not, don't say it's the Black woman. No, it's actually all women right now. All women are feeling it. And that's why you have performative femininity. You have women that act a certain way just so they can get their needs met because they don't want to create anything. I'm willing to be a charger. I'm willing to be an outlet for a charger, for a man that needs to charge up through me, just so in exchange for safety and security. So you be careful of what you ask for, because you're going to have to give up something. Ain't nothing free. Not even, your freedom is even cost you. Spiritually, you're free. But if you want to be fiscally successful and thrive in a country, you got to get yourself together. You can't go to everything. Stop, volunteering to go to all these places. You need to sit your tail down, and you need to, my clients already know where I'm going with this. The masculine within you has to take care of the feminine, the inner husband and the inner wife. You have an inner masculine and an inner wife, an inner femme. So if my needs don't get met, I can't create anything. So then I have to look outside of myself for somebody to secure me, because I don't know how to do it, because I don't have a connection with the source. I don't have connection with spirit. I can't think with logic and ego anymore. Logic is only necessary when I need to look at some trends. But my inner wife has to be secure. My inner woman has to be secure. The feminine, because I came in this realm as a feminine, identity in so many ways. And I came here with the majority of who I am is a feminine energetic. But in a nation where they don't really understand how important I am to the balance of this land, and I'm on my own in some ways, because guess what? I have to call on the protection of a divine source. So I'm supposed to always, when people talk about feminine, they always kind of equate it to the male or the masculine, right? But every feminine energetic person requires security. The gender male, the man has a feminine aspect to him too, and wants security from his woman. There has to be an inner security. I love that, Brittany. There's an inner family. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Father, masculine. The feminine, Holy Spirit. The inner child, the Christ within. Holy Trinity. Very good. I love that. There's a family within you. So the Christ consciousness, what is that? Let this mind be in you that was once in Christ Jesus. What was the mind of Christ? The mind of Christ was turning water into wine. The mind of Christ was making the blind see. The mind of Christ was a teacher. The mind of Christ had a community. But the mind of Christ also knew when it was time to be alone. See, Jesus was actually operating in an Aquarian manner. If you would study the gospel, how many times did Jesus used to go by himself? He used to sell off by himself. But when it was time for community, he was in the community with the disciples, the 12, and Mary Magdalene. Absolutely, Amy. So 8-8, this is your time to walk through a portal of transformation and aspiration and creativity. You need to be creating more. You need to be creating more money. If you're not making any money, you're not creating. I'm talking about outside of your job. That's why women do very well in 9 to 5s. They're very, very, very high performers. You know why? Because our creativity, and also too, the jobs, quote unquote, make you feel safe and secure. So when you're safe and secure, you get to create stuff. Your performance goes up. Now your income doesn't go up in so many ways because you're fixed at a salary level. But guess what? You do well because you get to create and multiply things, which is why you always go past your quota. You're always getting promoted. And you just bring that same energy into your own creation. Because some of y'all that are sitting pretty on these jobs or sitting pretty in areas and trying to do the safe stuff, it's going to be a time where you're going to be forced. The age of Aquarius is about, it's gotta happen. It's a new age. We are literally moving into a new age. The Bible has already been fulfilled. When did Jesus, but Jesus got to come back first. It's not Jesus that's coming back, it's Christ that returns. The Christ is here. The consciousness of Christ. Let this mind be in you that was once in Christ Jesus. He has come. No, coach. He said that we're going to be caught up to meet him. Who said that? Paul or Jesus? Be careful. If it didn't come out of the mouth of Jesus, now he did say one will be left, one will be taken. What are you talking about? Consciousness. There's going to be some people, there's no middle. Y'all understand that. There's no middle. There's not going to be a one that's going to be sitting kind of in the middle of things. This is happening before our eyes. I really encourage y'all to start, when you get some downtime, we start thinking and looking and reading more than just what they say in the pulpit. Because some of y'all, like I'm finding more and more Christians, which is really unfortunate, that don't even know their word. They don't even know the scriptures. They just go to a preacher and listen, and whatever he says is true. You got people that get on the internet and look up YouTube and listen to the same pastors that's going off of opinion rather than data and research and deeper soul body connection. But keeping you in emotions and haters and all this stuff. You ain't got no haters. There's no such thing as a hater in the age of Aquarius. There are people that project. There's going to be some people you have to leave your family behind. And when I say leave them behind, I'm talking about in your journey here on earth. Jesus had to leave his family. If your family is steady pouring in negativity, you got to decide, like, do I like this or do I need to start moving away from this? I want you to keep your theology. I want you to keep your faith. I want you to keep that, but I want you to also think about expansion. I'm not telling you to go and get no tarot cards. I'm not telling you to go and burn candles and light incense and all this stuff and it builds an ancestral altar. I'm not telling you to do that. You don't have to do any of that, actually. Your mouth, your mind, and your heart is enough. I tell people my ancestors were slaves. I really don't know how they could be of great use to me, except for giving me, some reassurance I'm on the right track, whatever that means. But I gotta look forward. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling. Out of my mouth speaks and declares. My mind has to be the mind of God. It's God minded, divine minded. Your concept of God is in the mind. This is why you got so many people that are going back and forth about God. And this is why you got some people that struggle with money. You got some people that say, money comes to me so easily. I wake up and I got money in the bank, or I go to the mailbox and I got checks in the mail. You know why? Because they fed the mind. You know what the mind of God is? You go on to bed at night and you ain't got to worry about your heart beating. Your heart beats anyway. When you're getting up to go to the mailbox, your legs are working, granted this is applicable, that your legs are moving under you to get you to the mailbox. That's God. That's spirit. You don't even have to do anything. You just say, my intention is to go to the mailbox to get my mail out. You're going to get to the mailbox. You don't have to pray for the store to have bread. You just go to the store and go get some bread. That's the way you got to be about all of your manifestations. I don't know what's going to happen in it, but I'm getting money today. I'm enrolling a new client today, period. I'm creating and generating this much per month. We go from believing God, age of Pisces, to believe in. I have to depend on somebody for the fishes and the loaves. In the age of Aquarius, I am living by the bread of heaven and the living water. I know God. I know spirit. I know who I am. And all is mine. Just like all is mind. Today is Thursday. Go make it happen. Talk to you soon.